All right, two more quick things before we start putting the cutting operations on it, which correlates to step 4 in the tutorial. Make sure your parts stay put. In the 2D operations, we saw that there was an automatic option to make bridges or tabs to connect your geometry back to the larger stock so it doesn't jump out while you're cutting. 3D operations have no such thing because there's just too many geometric situations that can happen that it won't know what you mean by putting tabs on it. So just make them yourself. Model in 3-dimension. How big do I want this? Say 0.25 thick. How big they are is up to you. I recommend making something at least 1/4 inch thick and 1/2 inch wide. The bigger they get, the more secure they are, but also the more they interfere with your geometry. So it's a bit of a balance. Harder materials, more aggressive cuts are going to require more tabs to keep them put. So make sure that the tabs are aligned with the bottom of your stock, like I have drawn here, that they intersect fully with your geometry, and then most importantly, that in plan they extend past this boundary that you're cutting. If they don't, you'll just cut tabs out as a part of your object, but it'll still be free from the greater stock. And so make sure they bridge this gap, which is going to be a gap when it's cut. Next, that's mentioned later in the tutorial, but I'm going to do explicitly here, model the table. RhinoCam won't tell you anything about this, but model a surface where the bottom of your object is. This has a lot of benefits. One, if you have the stock set up incorrectly, it'll stop the bit from going deeper than it needs to go. But more importantly, when we're cutting this offset perimeter around the thing, it'll give the bit a little bit of space to go and do some run out around the edges of your shape to get it entirely cut out. It's also just a handy visual reference to know what you're working with. You've just physically modeled the table of the CNC machine. It's a little bit more real now that it's just sitting there.